In this video we will discuss on the heat engine and the type of heat engine. Heat engine is a particular device which is basically utilize the heat energy and convert it into the mechanical work. In a heat engine, it basically utilize the heat energy and convert it into the mechanical work. So if I talk about the classification of the heat engine, then actually we have the one is basically known as a IC engine, that is called the internal combustion engine, and EC engine, that is known as the external combustion engine. So what is the basically the difference between the IC engine and the external combustion engine? The main difference between the IC engine and EC engine is that the combustion. The IC engine, actually the combustion will be take place inside the engine cylinder, but in a EC engine, that is the external combustion engine, the combustion will be take the outside the engine cylinder. So if I talk about the example of the IC engine, then it will be the like the automobile engine, then like the rocket engine. And if I talk about the EC engine example, then it is like the locomotive engine, the steam turbine. So this is, and now I talk about the IC engine. So how the combustion will be take place IC engine, it is I came into the little later, but how the combustion will be take place into the particular the turbine or the steam turbine or the EC engine, I talk it in this particular video. The steam turbine, or we can say it the open cycle steam turbine, or the closed cycle steam turbine, actually both of them are actually the external combustion engine. So if I talk about the diagram first, then it look like, so this is actually the diagram, this is actually the diagram of the steam turbine. So here we have basically the air in, and there the by the help of the compressor, air will be getting compressed, and this further air is go to the particular combustion chamber, where by the help of the air the combustion will be take place. Then by the help of the steam turbine, actually the steam is produced, and that particular steam is further, then the steam is produced, that may be the fire tube boiler, the water tube boiler, or whatever, but the combustion is take place the outside, means separately combustion will be take place. So then that particular the steam is further go to the particular turbine, or we can say the hot, if we use like the hot gas. So in this particular diagram, I basically take the working medium is basically air, so I talk about the hot gases. So the air will be go in the conversion chamber, then the temperature will be add to that particular air because of the combustion, and then particular the heated air will be further placed goes into the turbine, where what actually happen, the turbine blade will be start rotate, and the expansion will be happen of that particular the compressed air. So and after heated that particular expanded air, we eject into the atmosphere. So this is how the steam turbine will be in getting operate. So it is basically the open cycle, and the closed cycle, we this particular here we further basically use continuously. So here we basically use a particular the heat exchanger, we basically use so that so it is basically the cooling water in, and the like water out. All right. So this is how the air will be go to that particular heat exchanger, air will be cooled down, and again we basically use that particular air, then it is basically converted into the closed cycle gas turbine. So this is, so mainly the combustion will be take place outside of the that it is basically the working medium. So it is a particular the the main portion, through that particular the shaft will be rotated, and when the shaft is further connected to the generator, then we get the electricity power output. So this is how it will be operate. But so main thing is that a combustion chamber, combustion will be taken place so completely different region. So now if I talk about the how the combustion will be take place into the automobile engine, that is known as a IC engine. So in IC engine, if I talk about the diagram first, so it is so this particular diagram as you see over here, so this is basically the SI engine I draw. And a CI engine, it is basically the spark plug. But a CI engine, we do not use a spark plug. So rather than use a spark plug, we basically use the fuel injector. So the main thing is that it is a particular inlet manifold, right? It is a particular inlet valve. So when a fresh charge I talk about the SI engine. So when a fresh charge came into the engine cylinder due to the suction stroke, then the fresh charge came into the engine cylinder, and after compression stroke, it will be the fresh charge will be compressed, and then the sparking will be happen. So the ignition will be happen, that is into the engine cylinder. So that's why it basically known as an IC engine, the internal combustion engine, and that's why it is basically called the external combustion engine, because the combustion will be happen in a particularly completely different area. So now in this particular video, you in this particular diagram, you see that so this is basically known as an inlet valve, and this is basically exhaust valve. So this is basically the spark plug. This is the piston. This is both of these are actually piston ring. There have as you see in this particular diagram, there have a piston is itself a little make a particular gap with a particular the cylinder. So this is basically the cylinder. Inside the cylinder, the piston is moved within two dead center. What is dead center? I talk it a little later. But there have a particular gap. That particular gap is further covered by these two particular portion of the line. So this is basically known as a piston ring. So the piston ring are continuously came in contact with the particular the cylinder head. So because of that, when the piston is start moving from the one dead center to another dead center, so because of that, the piston ring are basically continuous contact with that particular the cylinder, it will be create the frictional power. So it is actually the one type of losses we get. So this is actually the one type of losses we get. All right, so now I talk it into the later. Now the dead center first. So this is a one dead center and this is another dead center. So these two dead center we get into the IC engine. So the topmost portion is basically known as a top dead center, and the bottommost portion is basically called the bottom dead center. It is basically the maximum. So it is basically the maximum limit the piston can reach. So the piston cannot reach to the topmost to above the top dead center. So it is if it will be happen, so there have the accident will be perform. All right, so it is not possible. So there have the top dead center and the bottom, the topmost portion top dead center, bottommost portion bottom dead center, and we have a there, as you see there have a little gap. It we mentioned the top dead center and the cylinder. So this is basically the cylinder head. All right, so this is basically cylinder head. So this particular gap is basically called the clearance volume. So this particular gap is basically the clearance volume. So what is the purpose of the clearance volume? So due to the suction stroke, what actually happened, piston is moved from the top dead center to the bottom dead center, and the fresh charge will be filled the cylinder. And again, when the compression stroke, what actually happened, piston is simultaneously moved on the opposite direction, like bottom dead center to the top dead center. That time actually the piston is compressed all these particular charge. And when the piston is compressed, those charge actually accumulated in this particular clearance portion or the clearance ratio portion. So clearance portion. So and then by the help of the sparking will be happen, and as the sparking will be happen, we get a power stroke. So this is all about this is actually next video. We talk about the type of IC engine we get. As you see here, in a particular IC engine, you get the 2-stroke engine, 4-stroke engine, SI engine, CI engine, simultaneously petrol engine, diesel engine, the carburetor engine, and FI system engine. So we talk all of this one by one in a later video. So thank you.